This is wild. This is really wild.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I don't either. Hey crew, I've got the key, which is so very cool with leather on the back and then on the front. Looks like I'm gonna flip up the Italian flag colors and reveal a lighter to that Ferrari SF90 Spider. We are gonna take it for a drive, but first, let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. Up front on the SF90, we find a duct that sends cool air to the front electric motors. There's ventilation on either side, and below these projector LED headlights with LED DRLs and turn signals, we find some brake cooling ducts. There's a recessed portion on the hood for airflow, and this one is painted in Blu Electrico, which translates to electric blue, which is kind of funny to me because my CT5 Blackwing is also called electric blue, and I wouldn't mind seeing my color car on this one right here, but I like this blue a lot. Check out all this front overhang just ahead of the front tires. These wheels are 20-inch forged alloys as an option, wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, size 255 section front and 315 at the back. Within those wheels, which have these really cool fins inside them, are standard carbon ceramic brakes. Above are optional Scuderia Ferrari shields, and those side inlet ducts channel cool air to the mid-mounted twin-turbo V8. Looking at the profile, you can pretty easily discern that extra length compared to the 296 GTB, and with the top down, it's one level cooler than the very cohesive and very attractive top-up look. In particular, here at the back, I love looking at the cowls behind driver and front passenger and peering in through the glass window at the twin-turbo V8, which is surrounded by orange electric wiring loom for the plug-in hybrid powertrain. These two caps, this one here is for your charge port door, and on the right is your fuel door. Now you don't need DC fast charging because the battery is so small, it takes only a couple hours when plugged into a level 2 charger to top up that battery. Here at the rear, we find some slotted vents, LED taillights, and turn signals. The spoiler is pretty neat because typically air is going to pass underneath this section and over the prancing horse. But when more drag is needed, the center portion of the spoiler will descend to create it. That's above 2 center exit exhaust ports that are here as an option in titanium, and those are above a double housed diffuser. The SF90 is proper, top of the food chain supercar, towing the line with hypercar. And in particular, this Spider model looks that much more special than the coupe. And that's my question for you. Which does look better, Spider or coupe? Let me know in the comments, and let's check out the interior. Opening up by plunging my hand into this groove and looking inside at this blue and black leather interior with prancing horses stitched on the headrests, blue contrast stitching, a blue center stripe down these power adjusting heated seats with thigh extenders. There are beautiful aluminum accented foot pedals above SF90 Stradale floor mats, even for this Spider model, that are in suede and leather. There are your Ferrari tread plates. Blue and black leather is all over the door. Here's your door release button. Above 3 positions of memory, your front release, where we find 3 cubic feet of space. The fuel door and charge port door releases are here. There's an upgraded JBL sound system, and the engine cover is released here. To get inside with the top off, it's very easy. I just lower myself on the A-pillar, making sure not to make contact with that pillar on my way down. And with the roof up, it's still not bad. Door close noise has a very confidence-inspiring thud to it. This steering wheel is gorgeous, with leather at 9 3, carbon fiber bottom and top, with shift lights integrated here. The wheel design has a sort of hybridization, funny enough, given this is a plug-in hybrid vehicle, of physical and touch icons. The touch icons, some of which are grayed out until you need them. Behind the wheel, we have these enormous carbon fiber paddles with blue accents. To the left of the wheel are your door mirror controls, parking sensors, and your front end lift. Beyond the wheel is an equally enormous digital gauge cluster that is reconfigurable in a variety of different ways and has your wired Apple CarPlay system, no Android Auto. Above the gauge is a head-up display. Stitched leather is on the dashboard. There's an SF90 Spider logo on a bed of carbon fiber, topping a secondary screen primarily for the passenger to monitor some performance data or set the radio. There is a glove box here. This screen is for you to set the climate controls. And then down here, we've got some carbon fiber on the tunnel with one large cup holder and a slot for your smartphone. I love the design of the gear selection. It mimics the old gated manual Ferraris and is some really cool attention to detail. Your window controls are here, along with your raising and lowering top, and a key slot. Under the leather-topped console, we don't have much room at all, with one USB-A port and a DC outlet. Now, let's raise the roof and see what it looks like. All right, and with the roof in place, my view is squeezed a little bit, but is still tolerable. And with the carving out that they did of the headliner, it means that at 6 feet tall, my head does clear the roof and earns the thumbs up, but if I was to put on a helmet for track duty, I might be doing this. Still, for daily driving, this is going to be no issue, and this cabin overall has certainly a simplified approach to luxury, but a laser focus on performance. I'm ready. Let's take the SF90 Spider for a drive. All right, let's fire it up. Hold on a sec. First, hello cabin crew. Thank you for joining me for this drive in the Ferrari SF90 Spider. This is going to be a good one. But first, I hope you'll just indulge a moment of old man, get off my lawn sort of rant about this interior. When the car is off, I'm just sitting here remembering previous generations of Ferrari flagships and how you could have one parked at a car show and all someone needed to do was come up to the window and peer inside and get this giddiness, this wow factor of looking at all the visual jewelry of different physical inputs and settings, and it looked so race car and complex. And now we have a big blank screen and a largely blank steering wheel and more blank screens scattered throughout. And I realize it's elegant in its simplicity, and it's ironic given the fact that these new Ferraris are so much more complicated than the previous ones. But I just feel like we're missing out. Not for the driver, right? When the car is on and you're driving, everything's amazing. It's visually compelling. But when it's parked, everyone else doesn't get that same shared experience that I feel like previous Ferraris had. Okay, rant over. Let's actually start up the vehicle. Hitting the engine start. And several very loud chimes later, the SF90 is in accessory mode. It's not ready to drive yet. You have to hit the engine start one more time to enable that. Right now, I'm going to take note of our battery range. So it says that we've got a full charge in that battery and 15 miles of electric range, which is somewhat misleading because that's according to the European test cycle. Here in the US, that translates to about 8 miles of range. Surely enough to get you out and back into your neighborhood silently, as we are right now, because the SF90 always starts in the hybrid drive mode under electric power, so no one is being disturbed. Before we head out, I am going to stow the lid. Ding! And that sound means that the conversion is done. It takes 14 seconds and you can do it at speeds up to, I believe, 31 miles per hour. It is a very windy day today, so I'm not sure how long we'll have the top down for, but actually I need to hit this one more time. And that audio cue tells us we are ready to drive. Now I'll pull this back into reverse, and that brings up a very high resolution camera, but the position of the camera is so low that it's actually very difficult to discern anything. Certainly lane markings if you're backing up into a parking space. We do have trajectory lines. And your view is obstructed every time you need to turn the wheel. Pull the right paddle to go into drive. And we'll kick things off with a turning radius test. Lined up straight here. Pretty wide turning circle. Turn signal sound now. Interesting. It like speeds up and slows down like a heartbeat. Now for the world famous horn test. Okay. Yeah, that's just a regular old horn, and it's loud enough. Now, I won't have the need to demonstrate it right here, but every time you start up the SF90 Spider, the hydraulic front end nose lift is going to raise up. And so in my case, it was very useful to get down over my steeper driveway exit with the gutter there. And that is an option on the SF90, the nose lift. And that is surprising to me because you're looking at a $579,000 to start Ferrari. Why wouldn't that be included as standard? Okay, let's talk about the powertrain, because that's pretty exciting. So we have the combination of two front electric motors, one at each wheel, and a third sandwiched between the engine and transmission. Those are working with, not right now, but a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 to make 986 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. Right now, we're only operating as a front-drive electric vehicle, though, with 217 horsepower. In the hybrid drive mode, you can turn on the gas engine by applying a little bit of extra throttle. And what's notable about that is, yes, the wonderful, glorious sound of that twin-turbo V8, but the fact that beyond the sound of the engine starting, you don't feel it. Such a smooth transition of activating that engine. And in addition to that, you are engaging the 8-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox. See what I mean about how windy it is today? We're probably going to put the top back up real soon here. But first, I want to talk about the ride quality. So this adaptive suspension on these 20-inch wheels with lower profile tires still manages to deliver an incredibly compliant ride. It feels taut as a supercar should, but the bumps are not channeled in as harsh impacts to your body, and that's just in the regular setting of the suspension. I can tap this Manatino once more to activate bumpy road mode, and that is sort of like the comfort drive mode for this SF90, which makes the ride even more compliant. And you can see that we're back into electric power here, but as I apply the brakes, there's not a whole lot of regen braking that's a factor. It's mostly friction braking, and they are very smooth. Okay, it's been brief, and it's hard to tell because it's so windy, but when you are sitting here with the top down, there's not a whole lot of wind buffeting that's happening. The shape of these windows curving up, and this rear glass window, which is not actually all the way up right now, now it's raised back up, does keep you pretty well insulated in here. So I feel the wind rustling at the top of my head, but it's not entering this cabin as the thump, thump, thump turbulent wind noise. You find yourself really enjoying top-down motoring in the SF90 Spider, and on days not like today, when the sun is out, you'll want to do it as often as you can. Now, getting up to speed, when you're under electric power, if I go into the e-drive mode, it's not going to trigger on that gas engine, even at full throttle. And you can take this at speeds up to 80 miles per hour. We're going to see that battery pack draining very quickly in this mode at these speeds. But it is cool that you can lock in the SF90 as an EV in situations that you want it. Say you just want to run to the grocery store. You can do that under just electric power. And it's so quick to top up that battery pack that you plug it in for just a couple hours, or yeah, sure, overnight, you're always going to have a full battery. And when that battery is completely drained, if I go back into the hybrid drive mode and I tap this to activate these settings, swipe down and tap charge, that is going to turn on that gas engine, and it's going to replenish the battery pack. You can see the indicator lights going up to say that it is charging the battery. And it does so super quickly. You'll add back a ton of range in just moments if you're coasting along the highway. Wow, it is loud. I am going to put the top back up now. Okay, as I slow down now, I'm going to make the conversion. Continue carrying speed. Finishing off before we get too fast. And we did it! Roof is closed at speed. Now that the lid is raised back up, I want to spend just a sec talking about visibility here in the SF90 Spider. because it's actually better than a lot of supercars I've driven. Most recently thinking about that Lamborghini Huracan Storado, which has that super narrow letterbox view out the front glass, which requires you to constantly duck your head down to actually see things like street lights. You don't have to do that here in the SF90. The nose dips down super low so I can easily see the street in front of me, and the windshield has a bowing to it that at the center point means that you can easily see street lights. The windows on the side are also pretty large, and they also have an upward curve to them. And the back glass, well, I mean, I could see things out of the rearview mirror, but unfortunately the deck lid is so high that I can't see well over that. The door mirrors are nice and large, and they come with a feature that is not often seen in supercars of this caliber, and that is blind spot monitoring, which I rely on quite a bit when you are driving something this low and with haunches this wide. Now let's pause from the practical for a moment and get into the performance of the SF90 Spider. We're going to do a real-world 0 to 60 test. I've got my race box set up here to record, and we can see that the charging in the hybrid mode has fully replenished our battery pack for a launch. The way you do the performance start in the SF90 Spider is to go into the qualifier mode, igniting that gas engine and giving us access to all of the 986 horsepower. Then I'm going to go into manual mode, pulling back on the toggle. I do like as you select these different ones, it gives it a little light shooting up or down. So fun. All right, and then I'm going to take the Manatino into race. I then press forward on performance start, hold my foot on the brake, pin the throttle, build up the revs, let go. Oh. 2.44 seconds to 60. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Guys, that's actually, I'm still like just right now. That's actually crazy. That's ridiculous. It used all 4 of those Cup 2 tires to rocket us to 60 in an obscene amount of time. Now the vocal recognition thing knows I said Ferrari, and it doesn't like that, so I'm going to say cancel. There we go. Go away. And just let me process this, because I just set my brain to the back of my head.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I don't either. A low 2 second 0 to 60 and a sub 10 second quarter mile are straight line specs that are difficult to fathom, but I'm as equally interested in how the SF90 Spider handles. So I've got it here on a good curvy road. We're staying in the qualifying mode of the E-Manatino and the race mode of the Manatino, with the gearbox now in auto mode to see how it responds to some prodding. Aggressive downshifts. Goodness, the front end grip from those electric motors is ridiculous. And the all-wheel drive power channeled through these Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires makes you feel like you're pulling jet fighter level G's through curves. You have a massive amount of confidence with 986 horsepower. Way more so than I expected. The steering is delightful. Gosh, it's quick. And it's perfectly boosted. Despite being an electrically assisted rack, it's telling me all I need to know about my grip threshold. This 3,900 pound car just dances through corners and slingshots out of them. I'm loving the noises as well from the V8 motor here on song. Sounding exotic. And then those twin turbos with the compressor spooling and the whoosh of blow-off noise. I'm supremely thankful for the carbon ceramic brakes to slow us appropriately before curves on this downhill section. It's so flat through corners. I'm running out of words. The Spider has 220 more pounds to lug through curves than the Stradale Coupe, but I feel none of that. It feels precise, chiseled, nimble, and hilariously fast. Oh, the G's pressing my body firmly against the seat back, which weren't the most comfortable things around town, I'll be honest. I want some adjusting side bolsters. But here, when you're having some fun, are holding me well in place. The gearbox holding on to gears appropriately here, not upshifting too early on me. Ah, the grip, the speed, the noises, the left foot trail braking to tuck the nose, and the acuity of the components serving up some of the best driving I've ever experienced. Why, yes, I will have another run up the hill. Thank you for offering. And I'm going to go into manual mode for this one so I can actuate these lovely, enormous, quick shifting paddles. You gotta love the shift light indicator on the steering wheel. If that doesn't say race car, what does? Cannot get over the carrying speeds. How does a vehicle like this walk the line between streetability and comfort and this laser focus on performance? How does it do it? I don't know. That's why I'm not an engineer for Ferrari, I guess. I'm just a whatever driver, enjoying the heck out of what they produced. Oh, I like manual mode. I like it a lot. There's beautiful rotation, there's predictability in the handling, and your predictions can be, it can do everything. And yet my favorite part about this car is that it does all of these wonders without ever excusing the driver from the engagement that they so crave. You are immersed in the mesmerizing performance of the SF90 Spider fully, completely. You have that level of control. You have that measure of feedback. That means this never gets old. It's not just a specs car, it's nothing close to it. It is a driver's car. Oh, I'm in my happy place. Yeehaw! All of this complexity of the powertrain. And it just boils down to one simple thing. Driving purity. Driving excellence. Driving me crazy with desire oh, why don't I have more than $500,000 to spend on a car? And after that brief bit of gushing, let's move into the miles/per-hour word of the day, which for the 23 Ferrari SF90 is congruous, meaning in agreement, or how I prefer the definition, in harmony. Because agreement just sounds so transactional, and I like harmony because it sounds musical and poetic, which is really how I feel driving this car. All of the components, from this sophisticated electric powertrain to the raw 4-liter twin-turbo V8 to this all-wheel drive system, the 8-speed dual-clutch automatic, the power folding top, it all just works together in this congruous way, in harmony, to deliver something that is both comfortable and efficient around town, and then just this laser-focused, agile, visceral drive in the corners. It can only be something that's poetic. It can only be something that leaves me just dancing with music in my head as I'm driving it. Now, with the sun on my face and the wind rustling my cap, let's talk price, top speed, and fuel economy. The top speed for the SF90 Spider is 211 miles per hour, which happens to be the same top speed as the coupe, the Stradale version of this vehicle. The fuel economy is 18 combined MPG, but with the battery pack full, you have an MPGe rating of 51. And the starting figure for the Stradale version of the SF90 is $529,000, but for this Spider model, it's $579,000. Oh, and this one, as tested, that's $659,000. But what about the competition? Well, the problem is there isn't really any direct competitors for the SF90 Spider, this level of performance, this price tag with the stowing lid. So you're either looking at a class of cars below this that are convertibles, or a class of car that's on the level but is hardtop only. So we've got the McLaren 720S Spider, and I do know there's a new 750S model, but I can't remember if they released the convertible version yet. The 720S starts at $315,000, makes 710 horsepower, gets to 60 in 2.8 seconds, and has a top speed of 212 miles per hour with fuel economy of 18 combined. There is the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera 770 Volante, a full name for the parting gift of that model, that starts at $416,000, makes 759 horsepower, gets to 60 in 3.2 seconds, and gets fuel economy of 17 combined. Or there's the new Lamborghini Revuelto that is, for now at least, only a hardtop. It starts at $608,000, makes 1,001 horsepower, gets to 60 in 2.5 seconds, has a top speed of 218 miles per hour, and a paltry fuel economy rating of 12. If you have the kind of money where a $600,000, let's be honest, toy is on the docket, then I don't think you need to make the decision of this one or this one, or you just buy them all. So let's just say this. For under $1 million, I can't think of another convertible supercar that has this kind of breadth to its performance. The comforts of around town motoring, some of it being silent in EV mode, to destroying a canyon road on the weekends whenever you want to, having the top down, feeling the sun and wind on your face. It just does it all. So whatever your equivalent of a rich person's cart is, you should put this one in it. Which would you guys choose, though? Would you have the new Lamborghini Revuelto? Would you have the McLaren 720S Spider, or the 750S Spider, whenever that comes out? Would you get the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera Volante 770? Would you have something else? Or would you get this Ferrari SF90 Spider? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this POV drive review. If you did, please like, comment, and share it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell to get notified. Pull that paddle, and I'll see you next time.